My name is Olivia Bennett. I'm 29 years old and live alone in a cozy little apartment in Capitol Hill, Seattle. My job is senior product manager for a big tech company. Good pay, flexible hours, friendly coworkers, and on clear days, a view of Elliott Bay. It sounds pretty ideal, doesn't it? But when the holiday season rolls around, everything gets complicated. That day was December 24, Christmas Eve. I left the office early, stuffed my small suitcase into the trunk of my Subaru Outback, and started the familiar drive, 3 hours south on I-5 to Portland, Oregon, where my parents and 2 younger sisters still live in the suburban house I grew up in. It was drizzling, that classic Pacific Northwest rain. Not heavy, but steady enough to keep the wipers going constantly. Enough to make the road shine with the reflection of hundreds of other headlights from cars heading home for the holidays. I turned on the radio, tuned to the 24/7 Christmas station. Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You came on, followed by Wham's Last Christmas. Songs I hear every year, but today they sounded distant, like they belonged to someone else's life. I almost turned the car around twice. The first time was near Tacoma, when the rain got heavier and I spotted a brightly lit Starbucks by the roadside. I imagined pulling in, ordering an eggnog latte, heading back to Seattle, firing up Netflix, ordering Thai food, and pretending Christmas didn't exist. But then I remembered my mom's voice on the phone the week before. "Are you coming home? We're all looking forward to it. Chloe can't wait to show you her basketball highlights. And Riley just bought the most beautiful tree ever." Her voice was sweet, full of expectation. It's the holidays. Family has to get together, right? The second time was near Olympia, when I got a text from Riley, my 24-year-old sister who still lives at home and works part-time at a cosmetics store. "Get here soon, sis. I saved you the best spot on the couch," with heart and Christmas tree emojis. I smiled, but it wasn't real. I knew I'd go, because I always do. Because I'm the oldest, the successful one, the one they expect to bring a little big city vibe back to the quiet suburban house. And because of guilt, that vague guilt I've carried since I was a kid, as if not showing up would break something fragile. I've always felt like an outsider in my own family, even though no one ever says it out loud. Dad, David, is an early retired engineer who loves golf and watching Trailblazers games. Mom, Susan, is a stay-at-home mom who's involved in every women's group at church, throws parties, and proudly tells the neighbors her oldest daughter is doing big things in Seattle. Riley, 24, beautiful and outgoing, but never really left the nest. And Chloe, the baby, at 17, a junior in high school, star of the basketball team, completely spoiled. Me? I left home right after graduating from the University of Washington, took a job in Seattle, paid my own rent, handled everything myself. I rarely visit, only for major holidays, and every time I do, I feel like a guest, welcomed warmly, but not truly part of it. The car crossed the bridge over the Columbia River, the border between Washington and Oregon. I turned off the radio. Silence was better. I needed to prepare myself. The house appeared at the end of the familiar street, in suburban Vancouver, Washington, just outside Portland. The Christmas lights were dazzling, strands wrapped around the roofline, a 3-meter inflatable Santa on the front lawn, reindeer lights running along the walkway. The tree in the living room window reached the ceiling, sparkling brightly. The smell of gingerbread cookies wafted all the way to the street. Mom always bakes hundreds to give to neighbors. I parked at the curb, turned off the engine, and sat for a moment. Laughter spilled from inside, Dad telling a joke, Chloe giggling, Riley yelling about opening an early gift. I took a deep breath, grabbed my suitcase, and walked up the steps. The door opened before I could knock. Mom stood there in a red sweater with a reindeer on it, arms open wide. "Olivia, you're here! Come in, it's cold!" She pulled me inside. Warmth rushed over me, along with the scent of real pine, cinnamon candles, and turkey roasting in the oven. Dad came out from the living room, gave me his awkward man hug. "There's my big girl." Riley rushed over and hugged my neck. Chloe bounced around my legs. In that moment, everything felt almost perfect. Almost. I smiled, handed over my homemade gift, a box of matcha white chocolate cookies I'd spent all Saturday night baking, and tried to blend into the atmosphere. But deep down, I knew. Tonight wouldn't be simple. It never was. And I had no idea that in just a few hours, everything would change forever. Christmas Eve dinner started at 7, like always. The table was set beautifully. Deep red tablecloth with snowflake patterns, white candles flickering in glass holders, and the good china with gold rims that Mom only uses for special occasions. In the center was the golden roasted turkey, crispy skin, stuffed with bread and herbs. Around it, creamy mashed potatoes loaded with butter and cream, green beans sautéed with garlic butter, hot dinner rolls, and homemade cranberry sauce. The smells filled the house: roast meat, cinnamon, fresh pine from the tree in the next room. Everyone was wearing ugly Christmas sweaters, the silly tradition Riley started years ago. Dad's had a golfing Santa with blinking LED lights that read, "4 for the holidays." Riley's showed Rudolph with a flashing red nose. Chloe's had cats in Santa hats, with cat ears sticking out from the collar. Uncle Greg, Dad's cousin, always invited because he doesn't have his own family, wore one that said Santa's favorite hoe with a beer mug graphic. Mom, of course, looked elegant even in festive wear, simple red sweater with hand-embroidered white snowflakes. I wore a navy sweater I grabbed last minute at Target, a Christmas tree with merry and bright. Not too ugly, but at least it fit in. I sat in my usual spot, end of the table, across from Chloe, next to Riley. Dad at the head, Mom beside him. Dinner was lively, as always. Dad told golf stories, his dream shot on hole 18 he brags about forever. Chloe showed off her basketball stats, 22 points in the last game. Riley shared funny customer stories from the cosmetics store. Uncle Greg jumped in with his middle-aged man jokes, crude, but the family laughed anyway. I contributed a few bits about work, a new project about to launch, a business trip to San Francisco. Everyone nodded, said, "You're so successful," but I knew they didn't really get it. To them, I just work in tech in Seattle, make good money. Red wine flowed freely. I sipped slowly. I still had to drive home later. Mom refilled for Dad, Uncle Greg, Riley. Chloe got a small glass mixed with Sprite. The atmosphere was warm, cheerful, almost perfect. Then came the part Mom always looks forward to: early gift opening. After clearing the main plates and bringing out dessert, pecan pie and vanilla ice cream, Mom stood up, clapped her hands like she was hosting an award show. "Okay, everyone, time for the best part." She went to the Christmas tree in the living room, a nearly 10-foot beauty, decorated lavishly with thousands of lights, tinsel, and hundreds of ornaments in every color. Under it was a big red velvet gift bag with a huge gold bow. Mom dragged the bag into the dining room, set it by her chair. Everyone cheered, clapped, Chloe bounced in her seat, Riley pulled out her phone to film. Mom started handing out gifts one by one, like a real Mrs. Claus. First, Dad. Mom handed him a long, silver-wrapped box for the family's favorite golfer. Dad opened it. A brand new Garmin Golf GPS watch, the latest model with color screen and yardage to the pin. His eyes lit up. He gave Mom a big smacking hug. "Susan, you're amazing." Next, Chloe. 2 gifts, a small box, latest AirPods Pro, and an envelope, $500 shopping voucher for the local mall. Chloe screamed, jumped out of her chair to hug Mom. "Mom, I love you most in the world." Riley got a limited edition Michael Kors handbag in wine red, the one she'd been drooling over on Instagram since summer. Riley hugged Mom, kissed her cheeks over and over. "Mom, how did you know? I'm gonna die. I love you." Uncle Greg got an 18-year single malt Scotch whiskey, the kind he always mentions when drinking cheap beer. He slapped his thigh, laughed loud. "Susan, you sure know how to make a man happy." Everyone laughed, clapped, hugged. I sat there, smiling, waiting. I'd prepared myself. I knew Mom isn't great at buying gifts for me. Different city, different taste. But there had to be something, right? A scarf? A book? At least a handwritten card? The bag slowly emptied. Mom placed the last one on the table, a bottle of wine for Dad later, and sat down, face glowing. I waited a few more seconds. The mood was still joyful. No one looked my way. I cleared my throat, tried to sound casual. "Is there one for me, Mom?" Mom turned, looked at me like she'd just remembered something. Then she laughed, big, loud. "Oh, honey, be grateful you're even here with us this year." The table went quiet for a second. Then Uncle Greg snorted and jumped in. "Yeah, we almost forgot to set an extra plate." The whole table erupted in laughter. Dad chuckled. Riley covered her mouth giggling. Chloe laughed so hard she nearly fell off her chair. Mom laughed the loudest, eyes sparkling like it was the joke of the year. I felt my face burn, cheeks on fire, heart pounding. I looked down at my untouched pie. No yelling, no tears, just a small nod, forced smile, and quiet. Got it. Then I kept eating. Fork up, cut a piece of pie, put it in my mouth. Pecan sweet, cream rich, but I tasted nothing. In my head, everything shattered. It felt like being stabbed in the back, not once, but dozens of small cuts, from the people I love most. Not because of the missing gift. I didn't need AirPods or a designer bag, but because of what it meant. I wasn't thought of. I wasn't important enough for even a small pre-planned gift. I was only worth being grateful to be allowed at the table. I looked around. Everyone had moved on, like nothing happened. Uncle Greg back to golf stories, Chloe showing off her AirPods, Riley photographing her bag. I sat there amid the laughter, amid the twinkling Christmas lights, and for the first time in my life, I decided enough. That night, driving back to Seattle in the rain, I no longer felt guilty. I felt angry and determined. Everything was about to change, not because of the gift, but because I finally realized family love doesn't mean accepting being treated like an afterthought, and I wasn't going to accept it anymore. I left the house around 10 that night. Dinner ended earlier than usual, maybe because no one wanted to linger after the joke. I hugged everyone goodbye, got warm hugs and "drive safe, honey" from Mom. Chloe even slipped a gingerbread star cookie into my hand. "For the road, sis," she smiled bright. I smiled back, but it was stiff. Stepping outside, the rain was heavier than when I arrived. No longer drizzle, pouring, drumming on the car roof. I turned on the headlights, wiped the foggy windshield, and started the drive north on I-5. Radio off. I didn't want any more Christmas songs. No Mariah, no Bing Crosby, nothing. Just the rain lashing the windows, steady wipers, and my heart pounding. That 3-hour drive had never felt so long. I kept replaying the moment. Mom's words, the family's laughter, how quickly they moved on, like hurting me was just part of a fun evening. I tried to justify it. Maybe Mom really forgot. Maybe it was just a joke. Maybe I'm too sensitive. But the more I thought, the angrier I got. Angry at Mom, angry at Dad for laughing along, angry at Riley and Chloe for not seeing anything wrong, angry at Uncle Greg for his vicious add-on, and angry at myself for staying silent, for saying "got it" instead of getting up and leaving. Near Chehalis, I pulled over at a rest stop because my eyes stung. Not Kong yet, but close. I sat in the car, watching neon gas station lights blur through the rain-streaked glass, and for the first time asked myself, why do I keep coming back every year? Why do I keep trying to please them when they never try to make me feel truly loved? I kept driving. Past Olympia, past Tacoma. The Narrows Bridge appeared, lights shimmering on black water. And finally, after 3 endless hours, I was back in Seattle. Capitol Hill at Christmas midnight was still lit up. Old brick row houses with colored lights, trees glowing in windows, a few late dog walkers under umbrellas. I parked under my building, carried my suitcase up the stairs. No elevator, of course. My small 3rd-floor apartment. Living room, kitchen combo, 1 bedroom, tiny balcony overlooking the street. I turned on the warm lights. My modest plastic IKEA tree still stood in the corner, sparsely decorated with a few ornaments and white string lights.
No gifts under it. I hadn't bought any for myself this year. I set my homemade pie box on the kitchen counter, the matcha white chocolate cookies I'd spent all Saturday night baking, hoping to surprise everyone. Now it was just a box no one wanted. I opened the lid, looked at the perfect white frosting, and tossed the whole thing in the trash. Thud. Good.
No need to keep any memories from tonight. I sank to the kitchen floor, back against the fridge, hugging a sofa pillow. And then the tears came. I couldn't hold them anymore. I cried for the hurt, for the loneliness, for realizing how hard I'd tried for years to be seen, only to get "be grateful you're even here." I grabbed my phone, opened FaceTime, called Taylor. Taylor's my best friend from UW days. She's a designer at a small agency in Fremont, lives with her boyfriend and a cat named Pickles. The screen rang a few times, then her face appeared. Messy hair, old hoodie, sitting on her couch with a glass of wine. "Liv, Merry Christmas. Why the sad face? How was family time?" I tried to smile, failed. Tears fell again. Not good at all. I told her everything. The dinner, the gift opening, Mom's line, the family laughing. I told it all, voice breaking. Taylor listened without interrupting, just the occasional "oh" or "oh my God." When I finished, silence. Then Taylor, calm but firm, "Liv, that's not a joke. That's cruel. They don't respect you." Hearing someone say the truth out loud freed something in me. I cried harder. Whatever you think, it wasn't a joke. It was deliberate hurt in front of everyone, then covered with laughter. They knew you wouldn't react strongly, so they did it. That's not a healthy family, Liv. I wiped my eyes, nodded. While talking, I opened my banking app, Stress Habit, scrolled recent transactions. And then I saw it. Disney Plus family plan, me paying, everyone using. Spotify Premium Family, me paying, Riley and Chloe's playlist full of new music. Mom's gym membership, $129 per month, autopay from my card for 2 years. Amazon Prime, me paying, Mom ordering home decor and kitchen gadgets nonstop. Taylor Swift concert tickets for Riley and Chloe last summer, over $800. My treat because big sister. Dad's credit card gas charges, he forgets to pay back. Even the family SUV extra insurance, I'm secondary driver to lower rates. Thousands a month for years. I was the family's mobile bank, the silent sponsor for every convenience, every outing, every gift they bragged about on Facebook. But for me, just grateful to be at the table. Taylor saw me scrolling through the screen. "What are you doing?" I turned the phone to show her the transactions. This is why they laughed so easily, because they knew I'd never say no. Taylor was quiet a moment. "Liv, you need to stop, right now." I looked at the numbers on the screen, and for the first time, I agreed. That Christmas night, in my little apartment amid Seattle's wind and rain, I decided I would stop. Not for revenge, for self-respect. The weekend after Christmas, Seattle was still sunk in that damp winter chill. December 27th, gray sky, light rain from morning to night. I didn't go out, just stayed holed up in my apartment. The artificial tree still stood in the corner, lights blinking weakly like it was tired after the holiday. I hadn't taken it down yet, wasn't ready to face cleaning up memories of a terrible Christmas. I woke late, brewed a big pot of coffee, then sat on the sofa with my thick blanket. My phone was unusually quiet. No family group chat pings, no "did you get home safe" from Mom, no photos of Chloe showing off AirPods or Riley posing with her Michael Kors bag. Just a few late Merry Christmas texts from coworkers and Seattle friends. I knew they were busy enjoying the extended holiday. I was trying to process what was left in my heart. Late afternoon, as it got dark early, I opened a bottle of Cabernet Sauvignon, the one I bought at Pike Place Market last summer, saving for a special occasion. This was the occasion, facing myself. I poured a full glass, set it on the old wooden coffee table, and opened my laptop. Screen glowed. I logged into my main banking app, opened tabs for Amazon, Apple, Spotify, Disney Plus, and the gym chain website Mom uses. I started making a list. First, the fixed monthly ones. Mom's LA Fitness membership, $129 per month, autopay from my credit card for 2 years. She brags Mom stays fit with yoga and Pilates. Spotify Premium Family, $16.99 per month. Main playlists Riley and Chloe's, pop and hip hop. Disney Plus, $13.99 per month. Whole family watches Marvel and Star Wars. I rarely do. Amazon Prime, $139 per year, about $11.58 per month. Mom orders constantly. Home decor, kitchen stuff, neighbor gifts.
Almost never for me. Apple Music Family, $16.99 a month. Again, sisters playlists. Dad's secondary credit card, I'm authorized user for better rewards. He charges gas, golf gear, forgets his share. Then irregular but regular. Concert event tickets, last summer alone Taylor Swift for Riley/Chloe, 800 plus. Trailblazers for Dad, mother-daughter spa day for Mom and Riley. Eating out, occasional family dinner, transfer money, Mom forgot wallet. Birthday, holiday gifts for extended family, usually me paying most because you make good money. I opened Excel, new sheet, columns, item, amount per month, main beneficiary, start date, pulled 3 years of transactions. The total shocked me. Average over $2,500 per month on family, not counting big one-offs. 3 years, over $80,000. Money from late nights at the tech office, project bonuses, saving by eating instant noodles. Money I'd saved for a house down payment, solo travel, my own future. Mostly flowing to Portland for comforts they took for granted. I sipped the wine, tart flavor spread. I remembered Taylor's words Christmas night. You need to stop right now. I was scared. Scared they'd be angry. Scared of being called ungrateful. Scared of total cutoff. But also strangely relieved, like removing invisible ropes one by one. I started canceling. First, Mom's gym, LA Fitness site, find membership, cancel. Reason, no longer needed. Confirmation email, instant. Next, Spotify, family plan section, remove all members except me. Switch to cheaper individual. Disney Plus, cancel subscription. Are you sure? Yes. Amazon Prime, cancel membership. Turn off auto renew. Apple Music, same. Remove family. No announcement. No group chat. Everyone handle your own from now on. No drama. Just quiet clicks. Each confirmed cancellation followed by a sip of wine. Heart racing, hand shaky. But more done, lighter I felt. Lighter because I finally chose myself. Lighter because I was no longer the unconditional sponsor. Lighter because I realized respect isn't money. Love isn't bought by paying every bill. When finished, I closed the laptop. Glass empty. Outside, rain steady. Capitol Hill streetlights hazy in the wet. I stood, opened the window a crack. Cold, damp air rushed in, carrying earth and distant sea smell. I whispered, enough. I didn't know how they'd react when they found out. Maybe days later when Mom's gym card declined, Netflix asked for payment update, Prime stopped free shipping. But right then, in my small apartment, I felt freer than ever, scared and relieved, ready for whatever came next. The first reaction came faster than I expected. Just 3 days after canceling everything, December 30. I was at the office, mid-daily stand-up with the product team. Phone vibrated in my pocket. Glance, Mom calling. I let it ring, switched to vibrate. Meeting ended, I stepped into a quiet hallway, called back. Mom picked up instantly, voice high, panic-tinged. Olivia, finally, my gym pass didn't work today. The girl at the desk said declined. What happened? Bank error? I took a deep breath, leaned against the glass wall overlooking rainy Seattle. No error, Mom. I canceled it. Silence a second. You canceled? What do you mean? You'll have to put it under your own card from now on. I'm not paying anymore. Mom's tone flipped, panic to anger, disbelief. Olivia Bennett, what are you saying? Mom goes to the gym regularly for health. You know that. Those yoga classes are the only thing that relaxes me after taking care of the house all day. You can't just cancel without a word. I'm saying it now, Mom.
Because of what? Christmas? You're still mad about gifts? Oh my God, it was just a joke. Everyone laughed. Why so serious? I kept calm, though heart pounded. Not about gifts. About not wanting to keep paying for things everyone takes for granted. Mom sighed dramatically, the sigh I've heard since childhood whenever she wanted guilt. You've changed, Olivia. Seattle changed you. Money changed you. I never thought my daughter would be like this. I didn't argue. Just, I'm fine, Mom. Gotta get back to a meeting. She started to say more, but I hung up. That afternoon, I tried to focus on work, but my mind wandered. That night, cooking pasta in my apartment, phone buzzed again. Dad. Livy, it's Dad.
His voice calmer than Mom's, but underlying irritation clear. Hi, Dad. Just tried Netflix for an old game. Says update payment method. You know anything? I stopped paying for things I don't use, Dad. Longer silence. You serious? Completely. He sighed. Man sigh when avoiding drama but having to speak. Listen, kid. Families help each other. You make more than the rest of us. That's a blessing. Mom and I paid for your college, raised you. Now you're successful. Helping a bit? What's the big deal? I stirred the pasta, voice steady. I know you did a lot for me. I'm grateful. But helping doesn't mean indefinite payments without respect. He gave a dry laugh. Respect? Over one Christmas joke you're doing this? You're too sensitive now. Not one joke, Dad. A pattern. He went quiet. Changed topic. Anyway, you coming for New Year's? Mom's planning a small party.
Chloe wants to show you some new moves. Haven't decided. Okay, think about it. He hung up first. I ate alone, watched a series on my new individual account. Strange feeling, relief mixed with worry. Then late that night, the Bennett family group chat exploded. I opened my phone before bed, meaning to silence notifications, and saw dozens of messages. First, Mom. Everyone, just a heads up, my gym membership got canceled today. Not sure what happened, but I'll figure it out. Thank you. Then Riley. Same with Spotify. Kicked me out of Family Plan. Anyone else? Chloe. Disney Plus too. What's going on? Mom again. I talked to Olivia. She said she canceled them. I'm honestly shocked. After everything we've done for her. Riley. Seriously? Because of Christmas gifts? That's low. Chloe sent a crying sad sticker. Uncle Greg. Somehow in the group. Who knows when. Kids these days. Money changes people. Dad. Short. Some people forget who paid for their college and first apartment deposit. Riley. Exactly. We were just joking. Now this. Mom. Long message. I'm hurt. Truly hurt. I always try to keep this family together, organize everything, make sure everyone feels loved. And now this. Over money. I'm hurt. I miss my sister already, but wow. I read, hands cold. No one mentioned how Christmas Eve really went. No one mentioned Mom's words. No one mentioned how much I'd paid over the years. Just passive-aggressive attacks. Just turning me into the betrayer for daring to say no. I scrolled up and down, read it all, heart racing, eyes stinging. But this time, I didn't cry. I opened group settings, tapped mute notifications, screen muted forever. I set the phone down, turned off the light, and decided, New Year's, I'm not going home. I'll stay in Seattle with real friends, Taylor and a few coworkers. Dinner at a cozy restaurant, champagne at midnight, welcoming the new year without pretending everything's fine. Because for the first time, I chose myself. And though scared, though hurting, I knew I was right. The social media smear campaign started just one day after the group chat explosion, December 31st, New Year's Eve. I woke late, head heavy from last night's wine. Phone full of notifications, but not direct from family, from Taylor. Taylor sent a string of screenshots and private messages. Short note, Liv, you need to see this. I'm sorry. I opened them, heart pounding from the first. First was Chloe's Instagram story, my 17-year-old sister, public account with over 2,000 followers, mostly school friends and basketball team. Black background, big white text, "When family turns their back for a paycheck. Barkley." With a crying sticker and Mother's family. Sad lyrics about family breaking. Story viewed over 400 times. Next, Riley's TikTok. 15-second video. Riley on the home couch, old Christmas sweater, tree lights behind. Looking straight at camera, eyes red like she'd cried, lips trembling. Voiceover in Riley's voice. Sometimes the people you love most hurt you the deepest. Blood isn't always thicker than water. Happy New Year to everyone who still knows what loyalty means. Ends with overlay text. Grateful for the family that stays. Over 5,000 views, hundreds of likes, comments flooding, "I'm so sorry, babe, you deserve better, your mom raised you right," from friends, Riley's old coworkers, even distant relatives. Mom, Susan, commented directly under Riley's TikTok. "So proud of my girls who still know what family means. Love you both forever. Heart." Chloe reposted Riley's video to her story. Caption, "This, exactly this." I scrolled more. Screenshot from Mom's Facebook. Old-style quote graphic. Sunset background. White text. "Family is forever, even when one member chooses money over love." Mom's caption. "Feeling heartbroken tonight. Praying for strength during this difficult time. So thankful for the daughters who still call their mom, who show up, who understand what sacrifice means. Some people get lost in the city lights and forget their roots. But God sees everything, holding my real family close." Blessed. Family over everything. Public post. Over 80 likes in an hour. Comments pouring in. "Susan, you're the best mom I know. Praying for you." Some kids really do change when they make money. So sad. Your girls, the ones who stayed true, are angels. Hugs. Don't let one ungrateful child dim your light. You deserve better. Distant relatives joined. Aunts, uncles, Mom's high school friends. No one asked the truth. No one private messaged me. They just needed this story. Devoted mother betrayed by successful but ungrateful big city daughter. I sat in bed, phone in hand, feeling punched in the chest. Heartbroken. Truly heartbroken. Not because they lied, I'd braced for that, but the speed and coordination, how perfectly they turned themselves into victims in days, how they used social media to craft a narrative where I had no voice. I wanted to reply, comment, post my own story with the truth, but I knew it would be useless. They'd say I was attacking them. More comments defending Mom. More drama. Instead of crying, though tears threatened, I got up, made coffee, opened laptop. If they wanted to talk money, let's talk money. I logged into Main Bank, exported full 6-year transaction history since my first job after college. Opened Google Sheets, columns, date, description, amount, beneficiary, notes. Filtered each item. Mom's gym, started 2019, total over $9,000. Streaming, Netflix, Disney+, Hulu, Spotify, Apple Music, over $7,500. Amazon Prime and Mom's orders on my account, over $12,000. Concerts, sports, family flights to relatives, over $15,000. Dad's secondary insurance/gas, over $8,000. Birthdays, extras for Chloe, clothes for Riley, over $10,000. Countless small, eating out, car repairs, temporary loans never repaid. Total, $92,346 in 6 years. Nearly $100,000. Money from overtime, bonuses, saving on instant noodles. I color-coded categories: red entertainment, green health, yellow travel, added pie chart. Yearly totals steadily rising. I sat looking at the finished spreadsheet, heartbreak turning to resolve. This wasn't a little help. This was a pattern, a system where I was primary provider, they consumers. And when I stopped, I became the betrayer. Taylor messaged more. "You okay? I can come over." I replied, "I'm okay, really, doing something." I saved the file. Family Contributions 2019 to 2025.xlsx. Not sent yet, no need. But when the time came, this would be evidence. Not for revenge. To remind myself, I'm not ungrateful. I gave too much. And now, I choose to keep it for myself. That New Year's Eve, I didn't watch fireworks alone. I called Taylor and a few others. We gathered at a small bar on Capitol Hill. Cocktails, laughter, countdown. At midnight, I raised my glass. With peace, boundaries, and zero guilt. And I knew this resolve was just beginning. After the New Year, early January days passed in strange quiet from family. No New Year calls, no check-ins, just more subtle stories and posts from Riley and Chloe about loyalty, real family, photos of them with the tree. No me. I didn't comment, didn't like, just quietly saw screenshots Taylor sent. But I didn't hurt like before. Hurt had hardened into something stronger. January 3rd, I sat at my small dining table, laptop open, spreadsheet complete, 6 years, $92,346, clearly categorized, charts, short notes on big items. I reread several times, edited wording to ensure no personal attack. I didn't want war. I wanted truth on the table. I opened Gmail. New message. 2. Susan Bennett, David Bennett, Riley Bennett, Chloe Bennett. Subject. About who really owes whom. Deep breath, then typed. Dear Mom, Dad, Riley, and Chloe, I hope this email finds you well. I've been doing a lot of thinking since Christmas, and I feel we need to have an honest conversation, one that isn't rushed or emotional in the moment. First, I want to sincerely thank you. Mom and Dad, you gave me a home, food, education, and countless opportunities growing up. You supported my college applications, helped with my first apartment deposit, and were there for every milestone. I am genuinely grateful for everything you've done to raise me, and I never want to pretend otherwise. But gratitude doesn't mean unlimited financial support for life, or that I have to accept being treated in ways that hurt me without question. Since Christmas Eve, I've heard the narrative that I've changed, that I've chosen money over family, that I'm ungrateful. I understand why that story is easier to tell, but it's not the full truth. Over the past 6 years, I've quietly covered a significant portion of family expenses. Attached is a spreadsheet summarizing those contributions, not to shame anyone, but to provide clarity. The total comes to $92,346. This includes streaming services, gym memberships, concert tickets, Amazon Prime orders, insurance add-ons, gas, meals out, and many other things that became regular expectations. I never minded helping when I could. But when help becomes expectation without appreciation, and when I'm publicly humiliated at a family dinner for not receiving even a small gift, it stops feeling like help and starts feeling like exploitation. Canceling those subscriptions wasn't punishment. It was a boundary. I'm no longer able to or willing to be the family's primary financial safety net. I love you all. I hope one day we can talk openly, perhaps with a neutral third party like a counselor, about respect, boundaries, and what a healthy adult family relationship looks like. Until then, I'm focusing on my own well-being. Wishing you all a peaceful New Year. Olivia. I attached the spreadsheet, reread the whole email 3 times. Polite, clear, no personal attacks. I hit send at 10:47 p.m. Heart racing. I closed the laptop, paced the apartment. I knew the reaction wouldn't be gentle. It came faster than expected. 11:26 p.m. Mom's reply appeared. Subject. How dare you? All caps subject. Body long wall of text. Poor line breaks. Angry mixed with fake hurt. Olivia. I am absolutely speechless. How dare you send something like this to your own parents? To throw money in our faces after everything we sacrificed for you? A spreadsheet? Like we're some kind of charity case you're auditing? You were raised better than this. We gave you everything.
A loving home, private lessons, college tuition, braces, clothes, food on the table when money was tight? And now you put a price tag on our love? This is manipulative and cruel. Only a heartless person would do this. You're trying to make us feel small because you have a big city job and think you're better than us. I am ashamed. Ashamed that I raised a daughter who measures family by dollar amounts.
Don't bother replying. I need time to process how my own child could be so cold. She ended with, I no longer recognize the person you've become. Less than an hour later, Taylor texted, Liv, you're blocked on Facebook, and your mom just posted this. Attached screenshot. Mom's new public post. Old quote graphic. Family is forever, even when one child forgets where she came from and chooses money over love. Long caption. Feeling heartbroken tonight, praying for strength during this difficult time. So thankful for the daughters who still call their mom, who show up, who understand what sacrifice means. Some people get lost in the city lights and forget their roots, but God sees everything, holding my real family close. Red, #blessed, #family over everything. Over 80 likes in an hour. Comments flooding. Susan, you're the best mom I know. Praying for you.
Some kids really do change when they make money. So sad. Your girls, the ones who stay true, are angels. Hugs. Don't let one ungrateful child dim your light. You deserve better. Distant relatives piled on. Aunts, uncles, mom's high school friends. No one asked the truth. No one messaged me privately. They just needed this story. Devoted mother betrayed by successful but ungrateful daughter. I sat looking at the screen, everything clearer than ever. They needed this image, the big city cold daughter who only cares about money. Because admitting the truth, that they'd financially lean too hard, that they'd publicly hurt me, would force them to face themselves. Me? I no longer needed to prove anything to that crowd. I saved Mom's email in a separate folder, saved the post screenshot, didn't reply. I opened the spreadsheet again, stared at $92,346. This wasn't to demand money back. It was to remind myself, I gave a lot, and now I choose to keep it for my future. I turned off the computer, opened the window. Cold January air rushed in, carrying the smell of coming rain. I whispered, I'm not ungrateful. I'm just tired of giving without respect and return. And for the first time, I fully believed it. Early January, Seattle was colder and wetter than ever. The days after the email, the atmosphere between me and the family sank into heavy silence. No calls, no texts, just more subtle posts on Mom's Facebook and the girls' stories. I tried to focus on work, new project and final sprint, endless meetings, and spent weekends with friends. Taylor dragged me on a short hike in Discovery Park, then Mexican dinner. Life in Seattle went on, and I started breathing easier. Until Saturday, January 11th. I was home, in old pajamas, hair in a messy bun, on the sofa with laptop on my lap, tweaking slides from Monday's presentation. Outside drizzling, water dripping from the eaves. I just brewed Earl Grey, planning a real relaxation day. No work email, no family thoughts. The door buzzer rang. I jumped. No one warned. Taylor was out with her boyfriend. Coworkers don't drop by unannounced. I stood, pressed the intercom. Hello? Mom's voice, fake sweet, I recognized instantly. Olivia, it's us. Open the door, honey. I froze. Us? I looked through the peephole. Right, parents in the hallway, Mom holding a big shiny red gift bag with bursting tissue and huge gold bow, Dad with two smaller Nordstrom bags, both grinning like a Hallmark ad. Heart pounding. They drove 3 hours from Portland. No warning, no text, just showed up. I didn't open right away. Stood there, hand on the knob, trying to steady myself. Mom buzzed again. Sweetie, we brought your Christmas gifts. We didn't want you to miss out. I breathed deep, spoke through intercom, trying calm. I'm not ready to talk right now. Silence a second, then Mom higher, still sweet but worried. What do you mean? Open up! We drove all the way from Portland to see you.
Dad, Olivia, don't do this. We need to talk. I repeated, I'm not ready. You should go. But I heard footsteps. They'd gotten into the building. Probably sweet-talked someone in the lobby. Were her parents. Surprise visit to cheer her up. Seattle people are polite. Seconds later, light knocking. Olivia, honey, open up. Mom brought your Christmas presents. I looked through peephole again. Mom held up the bag, beaming, eyes sparkling. Dad behind, hands in coat pockets, face serious. I spoke through the door, loud enough. I don't want gifts right now. You need to leave. Mom's tone flipped, sweet to angry mixed with hurt. Olivia Bennett, we drove 3 hours to get here. 3 hours. You can't open the door to talk to your own parents? Dad, this is ridiculous. We're not doing this through a door. Knocking harder, then pounding. Mom, do you hear yourself? Open up. We just want to talk and give you your gifts. We want to fix everything. I stepped back, heart racing. I was clear in the email. I need space. Mom started crying, loud, dramatic, enough for the whole hall. You're breaking your mother's heart. After everything I've done for you. You cancel everything, send that horrible email, now you won't even open for your parents? Dad, Olivia, open the door. We're your family. Pounding louder, gift bags rustling. Mom drove 3 hours in the rain. How do you think Mom feels? You've changed. Seattle changed you. I stood close to the door, voice shaking but firm. You came uninvited. I said I need time. This isn't respect. Mom cried louder. Our family is falling apart and you don't care. You only think about money. Dad, this is about respect, Olivia. You owe us a face-to-face talk. Pounding turned to full banging. Hallway echoing. I heard other doors crack open. Neighbors peeking. Mom kept going, theatrical. We brought presents. We didn't forget you. We're trying. I pictured the bags. Probably a sale rack sweater, chocolate box, something cheap they could later say, we tried and she threw it back. I don't want gifts. You never apologized for Christmas Eve. Mom snapped. Oh my God, you're still on that? It was a joke. Normal families joke at dinner. You're blowing one comment out of proportion and punishing the whole family. That moment, I knew. Nothing changed. They still thought I was oversensitive, still wouldn't own it apart. Pounding continued. Mom, please open up. Don't do this to your mother. I grabbed my phone, texted Taylor. Parents at door, won't leave. Taylor instant. Call building security. I hesitated, but pounding too loud, Mom yelling enough for the floor to hear. I spoke loud through door. If you don't leave in 10 minutes, I'm calling security. Mom, you'd call security on your own parents? But pounding slowed. They whispered. 25 minutes passed. Forever. Mom alternating crying, pleading, angry. Dad repeating respect and family. Neighbors upstairs peeked, then closed. Another asked, everything okay? Finally, footsteps fading. Mom's still crying. We tried. You don't want. Peephole. Elevator down. Mom wiping tears. Dad red-faced. I sank to the floor, back to door, hands shaking. No crying. Just exhausted. Taylor called right after. You okay? Coming over? I'm okay, just tired. But deep down, I knew this was only the start. They wouldn't stop easily, and I needed to prepare for the next ones. A few weeks after the first visit, I thought things had calmed. January passed in near total silence. No calls, no texts, no new social posts. Just old stories from Riley and Chloe still up, slowly buried. I started breathing easier. Work busy. New project launched successfully. Team celebrated with office pizza. I started therapy for real, talking to a counselor specializing in toxic families. I joined our subreddit Raised by Narcissists subreddit, reading similar stories and realizing I wasn't alone. I thought they'd given up, or at least cooling off. I was wrong. Friday, January 24. I got home later than usual. Meetings ran to 6 p.m., then stopped at Whole Foods for dinner. Grilled chicken salad and white wine. Seattle dark early, light rain, Capitol Hill busy for weekend. I parked under the building, carried groceries upstairs, no elevator. As I turned into the third floor hallway, I saw them. parents and Uncle Greg blobbing right in front of my door like a living wall. Mom in camel trench coat, hair neat, face red from cold. Dad in black turtleneck, hands in pockets, serious. Uncle Greg, big, beer belly, old leather jacket, leaning on wall, half smile familiar. I stopped, groceries heavy. Mom saw me first, fake bright face. "There she is, Olivia!" Dad turned, low voice. "We need to talk." Uncle Greg smirked. "Yeah, kiddo, long time no see."
I set groceries down, keys in hand, tried calm. "You weren't invited. I was clear last time." Mom stepped forward, sweet but urgent. "Honey, we're so worried. After that email, I haven't slept. We just want to talk face to face." "Dad, you can't hide forever. Families work things out." "Uncle Greg, you don't just ghost your own blood kid." I backed a step, back to wall. "This isn't working out. This is trespassing. I asked for space." Mom started acting, eyes teary, voice trembling. "You call your parents visiting trespassing? We drove 3 hours again, in this cold rain, just to save the family?" Dad closer, low but pressing. "Here's what's going to happen. You open the door, we go inside, sit and talk like adults." I shook head. "No, I'm not opening. You need to leave." Uncle Greg laughed loud, pushed off wall, stepped closer. "Come on, don't be dramatic." "We're your family." He put hand on my shoulder, not hard, but enough to push lightly, trying to move me from blocking the door. His hand heavy, warm, rough, clear, physical control. I jerked shoulder away, voice rising first time. "Don't touch me." Mom scoffed. "Oh my God, now you're saying your uncle assaulted you? It was just a shoulder touch." "Dad, you're blowing everything up." But I had phone out, hands shaking but decisive. I called building security number, saved after last time. "Hello, security? Olivia Bennett, 3B. My family's here uninvited again. Blocking hallway, one just put hands on me. Need someone up here now." Mom heard, face pale. "You're really calling security? On your parents?" Uncle Greg backed off, awkward laugh. "Whoa, calm down, kid." Dad, angry. "This is insane." But minutes later, middle-aged guard Marcus, from last time, arrived. He assessed, heard my brief account. "She lives here. She's asked you to leave multiple times before. This is the second incident. You need to go now." Mom started crying. "We're just worried for our daughter. She's cutting off the family." Dad argued. "We're her parents. We have rights." Uncle Greg mittered. "This is bullshit." Marcus unmoved. "Doesn't matter. She's the resident. She says no. You leave, or next time we call SPD." He escorted them to the elevator. Mom cried the whole way. Dad muttered, "Ungrateful." Uncle Greg glared, angry. When elevator closed, I stood, groceries still on floor. Marcus turned back. "You okay, Miss Bennett? I'm filing a report. If they return again, we'll involve police right away." I nodded, small voice. "Thank you." Back inside, I sank onto sofa, hands still shaking. This time, not just gifts and crying. This time, hands. I opened phone notes, recorded details, date, time, what they said, Uncle Greg's action. I didn't want to, but I knew, next time, worse, and I needed to prepare. Taylor texted right after. "Again? Coming over?" I replied, "Yes, bring wine." That night, we talked till late. I told everything. Taylor hugged me. "Liv, this isn't family drama anymore. This is harassment." I nodded. And for the first time, I started thinking stronger measures needed. Building security had a report, paper trail. Next time, not just security. Late January, I thought I had some peace. After the Uncle Greg visit and building security escort, silence again. No texts, no calls, no new posts. I even thought Marcus's report had deterred them. I focused on work, regular therapy, planned short solo February trip to Vancouver, Canada, to fully reset. I was wrong to think they'd stop. Wednesday, January 29. I got home early. Online meeting ended 4 p.m. Seattle dark, heavy rain with wind gusts, real northwest winter storm. I stopped at QFC for dinner. Kale salad, rotisserie chicken, brownie box for treat. Driving into building garage, nothing unusual.
But stepping from stairs to third floor, I heard noise far off, yelling echoing in hallway. My name, Olivia! Mom's voice, shrill and sharp. I turned the corner, and they were there again, parents and Uncle Greg. This time tired-looking, rain-soaked, but more determined. Mom in yellow raincoat, hair messy. Dad baseball cap soaked. Uncle Greg blocking door, arms crossed, face flushed. Mom rushed when she saw me. There you are! Think you can hide forever? Dad, we're not leaving until you talk to us. Uncle Greg, this ends today, kid. I set groceries down, kept distance. You're not allowed here.
Security warned already. I'm calling them now. Mom scoffed, voice higher. You'll call security on your parents again? Aren't you ashamed? Dad stepped forward, blocking path to door. No more games, Olivia. Open up, we go inside, talk. You're coming home this weekend to fix everything. I shook head, voice shaking but firm. No, I'm not going anywhere. You're harassing me. Mom slammed palm into door, loud bang echoing. Harassing? We gave you life. You have this apartment, this job, everything because of us. You owe us your presence at home this weekend. Uncle Greg smirked, stepped closer. You think these city folks care about you more than blood? He put hand on my shoulder again, harder, pushing to move me aside. Don't! I shoved his hand off hard. I said, don't touch me. Mom yelled, you're twisting everything. No one hit you. But then neighboring door opened, Mrs. Eleanor, 78-year-old retiree, lives alone with her cat, stood there, phone in hand, recording. She said loud, clear, I'm recording this. This is the third time she's asked you to leave. Mom whipped around. This is family business. Mind your own. Mrs. Eleanor, unflinching. You made it my business when you started yelling and pushing. Dad, lower voice, but pressing. Olivia, pack a bag. You're coming home with us now. Mom slammed hand into door again, right by my head. Loud crack making me flinch. You owe us this, after all we sacrificed. Uncle Greg reached again, this time gripping shoulder tighter, pushing me aside to reach the knob. I yelled, let go of me. Then Mrs. Eleanor, loud, I'm calling 911 right now. Mom spun, don't you dare, this is family. But she was calling. I heard faintly, yes, harassment in hallway, third time, one just grabbed her. Sirens distant approached minutes later, Seattle PD fast and residential. 2 officers entered hallway, male and female, both professional, calm. Male asked me first, you live here, ma'am? Yes, this is my apartment. They're my parents and uncle. I've asked them to leave multiple times. Security escorted them last time. One just put hands on me. Mom jumped in, shrill. We're concerned parents. Our daughter is cutting off the family. Dad, we have rights as her father. Female officer turned to Mrs. Eleanor, viewed phone video. Video clear. Uncle Greg gripping and pushing my shoulder. Mom slamming door near my head. Male officer back. Sir, step away. This is harassment. You've been warned before by building security. Uncle Greg muttered, this is bullshit. She's my niece. Officer wrote ticket on spot for Uncle Greg. Citation for simple assault and harassment. He stood red-faced, took paper silent. Officers to parents, you need to leave the property immediately. If you return without permission, she can file for a restraining order. Mom started acting, clutching chest, weak voice. I feel dizzy. Blood pressure, stress. She staggered. Dad caught her. Officers offered ambulance. Mom nodded weakly. Ambulance came fast. Mom to ER. Blood pressure spiked real, from stress. Overnight observation. Dad angry, paying hospital bill and Uncle Greg's fine. Uncle Greg silent, no longer funny uncle. After they left, building management emailed confirming incident, reiterating parents and Uncle Greg banned without permission. First-time consequences landed on them. Not me shamed, called ungrateful. Them, ticketed, hospitalized, officially recorded. I sat in apartment, door locked tight, listening to rain on window. I shook, but didn't cry. I felt lighter. Lighter because finally the outside world saw and acknowledged I wasn't wrong.
After the police incident January 29th, everything fell into total silence. No calls, no texts, no subtle stories, no heartbroken quote posts. The Bennett family group chat still existed, but no pings. I left it muted forever, and for the first time in years, my phone felt peaceful. I waited for another explosion, a public post about evil police, or another long email from Mom, but nothing. Just heavy silence, like the whole family digesting what happened. News about them reached me indirectly, distant relatives still following both sides. A cousin in California messaged on Facebook, "Everyone's talking about the hallway incident."
Your mom was in hospital overnight for blood pressure, now on meds regular. Your dad's grumpy, complaining hospital bill too high. Another uncle, not Greg, called weeks later to check. Greg got a ticket, now quiet. At golf club, old buddies tease, "Next time, call before visiting grandkid." He's embarrassed, goes less. I heard Riley and Chloe took extra jobs. Riley more shifts at cosmetic store. Chloe weekend waitress at a Niner near school. Spotify and Disney Plus now self-paid. Amazon Prime too. Mom, who never called customer service herself, sat hours on hold resetting passwords, setting new autopay. Dad called streaming companies himself, waited on hold music instead of Ask Olivia. They were living their own consequences. No more invisible financial cushion. No one quietly handling everything. Me? I started healing. Week after police, I booked regular therapy. My counselor, Dr.
Ramirez specializes in toxic families and narcissistic abuse. First session, I told everything, from Christmas Eve to spreadsheet to 3 doorstep visits. She asked, "When did you learn your role in the family was fixer of everything?" No clear answer, but the question stayed with me. I joined r/raised by narcissists subreddit. At first lurked, then read more. Stories identical. Parents weaponizing gratitude, siblings as flying monkeys, financial abuse disguised as family helps family. I saw words I'd never dared use for my family: emotional manipulation, parentification, guilt tripping, enmeshment. Reading comments, "You're not crazy. This is abuse," made me cry, but release crying. I learned to name what happened. I'm not ungrateful. I was financially and emotionally abused. Setting boundaries doesn't make me the villain. It makes me an adult. 4 months passed fast.
May, when Seattle finally got real sun, cherry blossoms lining streets, I got an email from Mom. No subject. Short content. Olivia, "Mom's sorry things got so bad between us. I don't agree with everything you've done, but I miss you. Hope you're okay. Mom." No apology for Christmas Eve. No apology for 3 visits. No apology for public posts. Just half apology with subtle blame. I didn't reply immediately. Brought the email to therapy. Dr. Ramirez helped draft response. I sent after 3 days. "Mom, thank you for reaching out. I'm doing well, focusing on my health and happiness. I miss the idea of a close family too, but not the version where I'm expected to pay for everything and accept disrespect without question. If we ever talk again, it needs to be different. No yelling, no guilt, no pretending Christmas Eve was just a joke." I'm open to a conversation someday, preferably with a therapist present to keep it healthy. Until then, take care of your health. Olivia. I hit send without hesitation. Not fully opening the door, just a small locked window. I don't know the future. Maybe someday real talk, maybe forever low contact. But for the first time, my peace doesn't depend on their moods. Christmas the next year, 2025, I didn't drive to Portland. I stayed in Seattle. Taylor hosted a small party at her place. 8 friends, Indian takeout, good wine, real tree we decorated together. We watched Home Alone, laughed hard, played board games late. At midnight Christmas, we raised glasses under twinkling lights. No drama, no guilt. No one making me feel I should just be grateful to be there. Just real laughter and belonging. I stood on the small balcony, looking down at Capitol Hill Christmas lights, light rain drifting. I whispered to myself,
This is peace. And I knew I was right. If there's any lesson from all this, it's this. Family doesn't get a free pass to treat you like garbage. Boundaries aren't betrayal, they're oxygen. And sometimes the best revenge isn't slamming the door. It's walking away, letting them feel the weight of their own actions, and building a life where you're not just grateful to be allowed in the room, but genuinely happy to be exactly where you are.